school teacher was asked, "Do you love all your children the same?" And quickly she replied, "Of course! Of course I do." Well, later on, that question kept running around in her mind. And one of her students, Tommy, popped into head. She thought about Tommy, and Tommy really wasn't her favorite. I mean, he never brought his homework complete, much less on time. He rarely paid attention. He was always kind of messy. Well, it was Christmas time, and all the children brought Miss Thompson a gift. And so, as she was sitting in the middle of the room with all the children around her, and they would each bring her a gift, and she would behold that child and thank you so much for the gift. It was like the greatest thing ever. When she came upon Tommy's gift, she noticed it wasn't wrapped beautifully. It didn't have a bow. In fact, it was wrapped in the brown paper bags from the grocery store. It was wrapped like that. So okay, so she gets the package and she proceeds to open it, only to reveal a half bottle of cheap perfume and a rhinestone bracelet with half the rhinestones missing. Well, before Miss Thompson could even have a reaction, the children bursted out into laughter, and they were all laughing at Tommy's gift. Well, quickly, in a quick recovery, Miss Thompson puts on the bracelet, and she's like, "Oh, it's beautiful, it's beautiful." And then, she starts to spray herself with the perfume, and she's like, "Oh, it's so lovely, it's so lovely. Thank you, Tommy." She got through that. Well, later on, after the class had left, school was over, she looked up, and there was Tommy in her classroom. And Tommy walked up to her and said, "Miss Thompson, that bracelet looks as beautiful on you as it did on my mother. And you smell just like her." Well, as soon as Tommy left, Miss Thompson ran down to the clerk's office in the school there and asked to see Tommy's files. And so as she's walking back to her office, she's sitting down at her desk, she's got the file, she opens it up and proceeds to read. Grade 1. Tommy's not the brightest child in the room. In fact, he's quite slow. I think it has something to do with some problems that he's having at home. Grade 2. Tommy just doesn't pay attention. I mean, he doesn't get his home. He's trying. He gets his homework done, but it seems to me that he's not putting forth his best effort. He's doing just enough to get by. And I believe it has something to do with his mother being ill. Grade 3. Tommy's just not doing well since his mother passed away. I mean, he tries. I mean, he puts forth the effort. But I think his father's not paying much attention to him. As the tears are rolling down Miss Thomas's eyes, she's having this profound moment. I mean, how in the world could she not know this about Tommy? I mean, how could the day-to-day routine become so important that she did not know this about Tommy? It was a profound moment. In that moment, Miss Thompson was changed. Miss Thompson was transformed. She saw Tommy completely different. Well, the next day, Miss Thompson goes to school and she's got on her rhinestone bracelet and she wears it for several days after that. But now she sees Tommy different. She runs over. She's trying to help Tommy with his homework and she's interacting with him more. And before you know it, Tommy's actually completing his homework and getting it on time. And before you know it, he's actually digging school. He's liking it. He's involved. Tommy is actually starting to bloom. Several years later, Miss Thompson gets an announcement, an invitation in the mail to Tommy's high school graduation. And 4 years after that, she gets an invitation to Tommy's college graduation with a letter asking her to attend. 8 years later, she gets an announcement for Tommy's graduation from medical school, and in there is a letter asking if she could attend. It gets better, guys. So 2 years later, she gets an invitation in the mail to Tommy's wedding. And in the invitation is a handwritten note that says, Miss Thompson, I hope you can attend my wedding. And it would be very important to me if you sat in the chair my mother would have sat had she been able to be there. You never know where life is taking you and what life is preparing you for. You never know whose lives you're going to touch. Tommy was transformed. But Tommy couldn't be transformed if Miss Thompson had not been transformed. Jim Rohns, a motivational speaker and author, had his own defining moment. When many, many years ago there was a knock on the door, and he opens the door, and there is this little Girl Scout, and she says, "Cookies, $2 a box, sir." And he looks at her and says, "No, no thank you. My wife and I, we don't eat cookies." And she looks at him, "Okay, thanks." She goes on her merry way. Well, as he closes the door, he literally collapses to the floor and just begins to cry. And he's just crying. Okay, he's not crying because he doesn't like cookies. He's crying because he didn't have the $2. They were flat broke. And it was in that moment of realization, that defining moment, when he vowed this would never, ever happen to him again. Another famous motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar, had his own defining moment. One day, as he and his wife were walking in the grocery store, and they're tabulating everything that went in the basket, making sure that they wouldn't exceed the amount of money they had. Have you ever been in that situation? It's painful. Zig's wife picks up a loaf of bread and puts it in the cart, and immediately they realize that they have exceeded the amount of money they have, and there's a problem. So something in this basket needs to come out. So immediately Zig's wife says, "You know what? I'm going to pull out the stockings that I picked up earlier." So she goes to pick up the stockings, and as she's walking away, Zig looks at the back of his wife's legs and notices there are runs all down the back of her stockings. And it was in that moment, in that defining moment, that Zig Ziglar said, "This is never, ever going to happen to me again." Well, Zig went on to make quite a success of his life. What is your determining moment? Is it now? Is it forward? Then do what Jim Rohns and Zig Ziglar did and make a decision to improve your life. With bold, you will be transformed. With bold, you'll be transformed. And in that transformation, you never know how many lives you may touch.